know what he's saying.
You don't know. Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J. Coming out of our final break. A little Onyx going there. Finally, I got Big Rube's approval from the soundtrack of the night. So definitely glad about that. I want to keep you guys happy. You know what I'm saying? I want to see y'all next week. I mess around and not keep y'all happy and whatnot. Hakeem wants me to tell you that it was a great show. Big Rube, he appreciates your antics, and he's also telling us don't front. Black Moon got you open.
Man, whatever, man. Whatever.
Hakeem, thank you, brother. I knew I was going to get somebody who was going to give me some love on the song choice. So, all right, we're going to leave it there. I Steppin with Marcus J. I want to go and give my thank yous and everything before we wrap up the show. Of course, I want to thank my crew, Carlton Banks and Big Rube. We had Lil Banks with us for a little while. I appreciate you guys doing the show with me week after week. We had a good show. I want to give a special shout out to Nate Jones for calling us up and doing the show and doing the interview. A lot of good information. And, we fans here. We had an opportunity to talk to a brother who played in the Super Bowl. So we definitely were excited about that. And he said he'd be happy to come back on in the future. So maybe we'll have him again to kind of break down some film, or not so much film, but definitely break down the games from the previous day. Today was basically about just kind of picking his brain about the stuff that us as fans would never have an opportunity to get in on. So I want to also thank Jay Grizzy for always listening and getting in on with us. Hakeem, Desiree, I want to thank my sister Net for listening. Thank the fam for promoting the show tonight. Appreciate it, everybody who's listening. We see you in College Park. We see you in Arizona. We got you in Cleveland. And we see all those people lighting up the boards in Maryland. So we appreciate it. Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J. And we definitely got a lot of love back home in Jersey. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and end the show with your man, Big Rube. And every single week, he smashes us. What's up, brother?
What's going on? It's Big Rube. It's a smash. First of all, I'd like to take this time to thank my parents for raising me. And I know they did the best they could. And they gave me the skills and the thought processes to pick my own way of life and just be a good person. I dedicate this to them. Now, it is sad yet true when we see a whole bunch of kids out there who really don't know how to speak English. Some people find it cool to, yo, what's up, man? How's it going? Blah, blah, blah. What actually happened to putting a comma after a word where it needs to go and having a period at the end of your sentence? It's sad because a lot of people just don't believe that English is something that we should know. Ebonics, I believe they called that something that some person created because they thought that all black people speak a different language. But the last time I checked, in the high school where I grew up in, it was called English, where it be the King's English or the United States English is English. For those people who don't speak English, even though they went to high school and went to English classes, I feel bad for you. But I digress. The biggest thing I want to talk about today is the ability to speak in front of people, speak to people. I watched both the Republican and the Democratic convention a couple weeks ago. The biggest difference, other than the obvious stuff, the lies or how everybody was talking about certain topics, was actual public speaking. Mitt Romney is about an average public speaker. Paul Ryan could probably use some work. But the biggest thing is everybody's like, Obama is a great speaker. But the biggest thing is listen to Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton speaks English. He puts the comma where it's supposed to be in the period at the end of the sentence. Bill Clinton talks and enunciates his words, and he speaks to you like you're there right in front of him. He's talking to you. If you can't do that and you can't talk to another person in English, get some help. There are a lot of boys and girls clubs. There's 4-H. But honestly, the biggest thing is a lot of people just can't speak in front of people. I understand you're nervous, but you know what? The biggest thing you can learn in school, the biggest thing you can learn, period, is the ability to speak in front of people. Because once you get that ability, everything else, just falls into place. That's how you get a job. That's how you get a promotion. That's how you become the man or the woman. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, public speaking is something you should learn. Public speaking is something that everyone needs. And you know what? If it wasn't for public speaking, you probably wouldn't be hearing me today. It's Big Rube. It's a smash. See you next week.
Big Rube to smash. Appreciate it, my man. Carlton Banks. It's not unusual.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ruben put me to sleep there. Let's shout out to all the teachers who are working hard. Got the kids back in school this year. Shout out to high school football. Went to my first game in 20 years. Had a ball. Had a blast. My school didn't win, but they've been rebuilding for years now. So if you can, check out my page. Hit them up. Trying to get some donations made to the school. I love my high school to death. We had our 20-year reunion. We had an awesome time. Awesome time, I tell you. High school sports. Get it in while you can. I played high school football. I feel like the Al Bundy of TJ. I'll admit. I played high school football. I didn't score 4 touchdowns in a game. Heck, we might not have scored 4 touchdowns in a season. But we had fun. Help the kids. Support the kids. Let me know what I can do for you so you can help them. Please, by all means, help out the kids best you can. Marcus J., you ready?
I'm always ready.
All right, bro.
I have Steppin with Marcus J. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Carlton Banks, for your highly insightful rant about your high school Big Rube and his public speaking. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you guys right now with my moment that I like to call the mirror. Somewhat similar to what Big Rube said, but I'm going to go in a different direction. I, like him, and many of us, watch the Republicans and the Democrats share their vision for our future in their conventions. Of course, it was interesting to see the supporters of each party come out in full support for their candidate. And it got me thinking, it's so easy to get folks to believe what you want them to believe because most folks don't fact check. It's almost like a political sleight of hand. Mitt Romney's campaign said a couple of weeks ago that its ads attacking President Obama's waiver policy on welfare have been its most effective to date. And while the spots have been roundly criticized as lacking any factual basis, the campaign said it didn't really care. Quote, "We're not going to let our campaign be dictated by fact checkers." That was a Romney pollster, Neil Newhouse, who said that at a panel organized by ABC News. Now, he's basically admitting to a bold-faced lie. And then there was the highly articulate, wonderfully public-speaking Congressman Paul Ryan, who blamed the closing of the GM plant in his hometown on President Obama, when a simple fact check shows that's just simply not true. It's a lie. It's not true. He said that the GM plant that was set to be closed that year was Obama's fault, but we do know with a fact check that they said it was set for closure in May of 2008, and it actually closed in December of 2008, more than a month before the president took office. Of course, another flat-out lie. So why do these people feel so freely to tell these bold-faced lies? I'll tell you why. Because most of the masses won't fact check them. That's why. When we live in a time where most folks go to Wikipedia to fact check, you can pretty much get away with saying pretty much anything you want. There's an old saying, you want to hide something from people, hide it in a book. And sadly, that doctrine is becoming more and more prevalent. As many of us would rather watch Basketball Wives or the new one, Honey Boo Boo, than real reality shows we've seen on display with these conventions in the last couple of weeks. Many of us vote by party, not by issue, which is why folks believe everything their so-called party says as the gospel, even when we are being shown the political sleight of hand. Some folks even vote against their own issues just to keep that party line. So to me, That's the real reality show. The news, the conventions, the political cycle. Because the reality is this stuff affects us. This affects our lives. And you really can't complain about a situation when all you do is complain about the situation. If we're ill-informed, oftentimes folks want to avoid conversations like this. They don't want to get into no serious conversations. They want to escape so-called reality. That's why they watching Honey Boo Boo. That's fair. But we got to take the time to do our own fact check and not allow ourselves to be swayed by charisma, glowy statements, and nonsensical rhetoric, regardless of who the author is or who the speaker is. I saw a picture today that summed it all up for me. It was a picture of a bookshelf with books stacked, and a bunch of the books were falling over into a pile. The caption said that a book commits suicide every time someone watches Basketball Wives and Hip Hop Wives or Girlfriends or whatever the hell it is. Summed it up to me because basically folks can blog and chat and talk about these shows and like everything on Facebook with comments and all that kind of stuff. But if you try to type a note about something that's political in nature, the political process, get out the vote, missing child, some sort of empowerment, most days you don't hear nothing but them crickets. Crickets. That's the Murr. Marcus's unrelated rant that ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about here today. That's the end of the show, as we do every single week at this moment. Reminding folks, get out to vote. If you have early voting in your state, get out to vote early. Put in your ballot right now. Doesn't matter who you vote for as long as you vote. I already know who I'm voting for, so first moment I get, I'm at the polls, but that's just me. I want to say peace to all the stars and all the squares. In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. Those are the words of Bob Marley. Ain't no how to step in Marcus J. Be back next week. Peace.